And now, WTOE Radio Live, brought to you by throughoureyes.org.
Cheryl Echevarria of Echevarria Travel, your one-on-one travel agent, making your travel dreams come true, home of the independent traveler. Whether you're sighted, blind, or disabled, whether you use a cane, guide dog, or sighted guide, Echevarria Travel will get you there safely. Come and learn more about traveling independently.
Come with me, let's go. Come with me, let's go. Come with me, let's go. Come with me, let's go.
Hello, everybody. It's Cheryl Echevarria of the Echevarria Travel Show. I am so glad to be back. Unfortunately, we were not here in November due to a lovely lady that came through the Northeast called Sandy. Thank God we were okay, but we were not on the air in November. I also want to wish everybody a Happy New Year, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, or whatever holiday you celebrated in December. Happy holidays to you all. Tonight, we're going to be talking to Jason Murray, who's the manager of Southern Utah Scenic Tours. Reason for him being on tonight is that the Travel and Tourism Division of the National Federation of the Blind, to which I am the president of, we're actually going to be doing our first trip as a group to Las Vegas and the canyons of the Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Zion Canyon, and Route 66, and a lot of other destinations on our 5-day trip. And we'll get to that when we come back after our first commercial break. But after Jason's on, I'm also going to be talking about our recent trip to Bermuda. And I'm also going to be talking about something new that's come up. The NFB of Florida is doing the very first sail-away state convention in 2014. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. But before we do anything, I just want to thank everybody for listening. And we're, as you know, the WTOE is run by the NFB of New Jersey, and we run on donations. So if you like what you hear from either Echevarria Travel or any of the other radio shows, please make a donation. You can send it directly to me, Cheryl Echevarria, at Echevarria Travel at 10 Elgin Drive, Brentwood, New York, 11717. And your money goes to running our radio station. And I also want to thank Lenny for being our station manager and taking care of all of us and running the show every Wednesday of the month. So when we come back from our first commercial break, I'm going to have Jason Murray on, and we'll be talking about Southern Utah Scenic Tours. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Don't go anywhere. There'll be more show right after these messages. Hi, I'm Keith Zalley, your announcer here at throughoureyes.org. I'd like to ask all our listeners who have not yet registered at Through Our Eyes to consider doing so. Registering helps us ascertain whom our listeners are, where they come from, if they are blind or visually impaired, as well as other important information which helps us guide us in providing programming that will meet our visitors' needs. I urge all our listeners to register today. It's free and only takes a minute to complete the process. Please read our privacy policy so you can be assured that the information you provide stays with us and only us, and you'll never get any unwanted emails.
You put your keys between your knuckles. You walk in well-lit areas. Someone approaches you and you grasp your cell phone tightly, ready at any second to dial the number for help. You lock the door behind you. Once, twice, maybe 3 times. Now you feel safe, secure. You think you've made the right choices to protect yourself. Think again. Because if you're not making healthy choices, you could be one of the nearly 2 out of 3 women killed by cancer, diabetes, heart disease, or stroke. So eat right, get active, don't smoke, see your doctor, and live. Learn to protect yourself from yourself at 1-866-399-6789 or visit us at everydaychoices.org. A message from the American Cancer Society, American Diabetes Association, American Heart Association, and the Ad
The
Council.
audience at the Apollo is twice as likely.
The people at my family reunion are twice as likely.
My classmates at Morehouse College are twice as likely.
Many listeners to this radio station are twice as likely.
It's called the odds.
And the odds are African Americans are nearly twice as likely to suffer a stroke as white Americans.
There are steps you can take to help beat the odds. Start by calling 1-888-4-STROKE or go to strokeassociation.org. Join the power to end stroke. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Come with me, let's go.
And we're back. As I was saying prior to the commercial, that the NFB Travel and Tourism Division is doing their very first group destination to Las Vegas and the canyons of the Midwest in October of 2013. And tonight we have the manager of the tour company that we're using. The gentleman's name is Jason Murray, and he's the manager of Southern Utah Scenic Tours. Jason, are you there?
I am. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. We really appreciate it. I just want to give a little history of what we're doing. The NFB has our own travel and tourism division, and I am the president of that division. And in all the 12 years that the division has been in existence, we've never did a destination trip anywhere, and we decided to work with our treasurer, Mr. Milton Taylor, who lives out in Utah. So we got in touch with Jason and Ron Hillquest, who's the owner of the tour company, and Jason has been very kind to be on the show tonight. Jason, I want you first to give a little history about yourself, how long you've been with Southern Utah Scenic Tours, and a little history about the company itself.
Let's start with Southern Utah Scenic Tours. They've been in business for about 14 years now. Ron Hellquist started it as a day trip operation where people coming out to the Shakespeare Festival in Cedar City, Utah, he would take them on day trips to Zion's, Bryce, Cedar Breaks National Park. After that, it kind of morphed. He had some repeat business and more repeat business, and they started asking him for longer tours and mixing it up, and so it's grown into a 14-year journey for him. We tour throughout the western United States, Alaska, Hawaii, Canadian Rockies, Yellowstone, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, California, Yosemite, Sequoia, Kings Parks, all of those famous ones everyone recognizes. Myself, I've been with Southern Utah Scenic Tours for almost a year now. I did some different things. I actually grew up in Southern Utah. But I love the parks. I've spent almost my entire life visiting one park or another. I've done a lot of hiking, rock climbing, rappelling, different things like that. But also I kind of fell in love with the geology, history, and the plant life. It's so fascinating and unique. Driving 4 hours in any direction, and you can be in a completely different ecosystem almost. It's a very unique place to live, and I really enjoy sharing this passion with people that I get to take on tours.
wonderful. Before we move on, I do want to give information on how people can find out about our tour. You can contact me, Cheryl Echevarria, at Echevarria Travel, and my phone number is 631-456-5394, or you can reach me at reservations at ECHEVARRIATRAVEL.com. So we are going to be taking this trip October 9th through the 13th of 2013. It's a 5-day trip, and I'm going to have Jason explain. Do you have the tour description with you?
Yes, it's sitting right here.
So if you could give us a heads up on exactly what we'll be doing and stuff, that would be great.
Okay. Well, we're going to start. The 9th is a Wednesday. That's one of the least busiest days for Las Vegas, which is a good thing. That place is always a zoo. We're going to be staying at the Bally's Resort. That's one of the centrally located ones. It's easy to get in and out of, but they've done a lot of remodeling and renovating there. So we're going to meet you at the airport. We'll transport you from the airport to Bally's Hotel. We provide you with dinner that night, or coupon credit for dinner at any of the restaurants they have there, and then we will let you rest up for the big day the next day. The next morning, after an early breakfast, we leave about 7 a.m. and we're going to drive to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. On the way there, we get to pass over the Hoover Dam. Get my dams mixed up here. We drive across Hoover Dam. They just built a brand new bridge across the canyon down there. We're going to go into Kingman, Arizona, and from there we're going to get on the I-40, which is also Route 66. We're going to stop in Seligman, which is, if anybody has seen or familiar with the Cars movie, that's kind of the movie that it was branded after. So we'll stop there for a little bit, and then nice bathroom break and stuff. It's about halfway between on the drive, and then we'll continue on to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. We will actually spend about 3 hours or so at the south rim. We'll get lunch there. We'll walk along the rim. There's some really neat things the Grand Canyon's done, where they've actually put different types of rocks that represent the geology of the canyon along a walking path that walks along the rim. And so you can actually touch and feel and experience what each layer of the Grand Canyon feels like, which is it's really good. After that, we'll check out the unique trees and specimens that are around there, and then we will continue on to Page, Arizona for the night. And when we're in Page that evening, we will stop by the Navajo Heritage Center. And at the Navajo Heritage Center, what this is, it's actually a reconstruction of a actual Navajo Hogan site. So you get to see a male Hogan, you get to see a female Hogan, you get to see drawing a blank. You get to see their bread ovens. You actually get to feel the way the juniper trees feel as they built them and put them together, and then also the mud on the outside. So that's what we do the first real day of travel. Friday, or day 3, we go to Zions National Park. We go to Bryce Canyon National Park. In Zions and Bryce, we'll be able to experience the different geology. There's limestone and some sandstone in the Grand Canyon, but on the way there, we'll have Zions and Bryce is a different type of limestone and a different type of sandstone, and we get to experience those. We get to ride up and down the canyon, walk along the river for a little bit in Zions, and we'll go through the tunnel there. We'll be able to stop at the visitor center and the Human History Center and really kind of get a good feel for the uniqueness that Zions Canyon has. on the Bryce Canyon. When we go there, we'll actually visit Fairyland Point, Sunset, and Bryce Point. Those points offer you, and Sunrise, it's not on there, but those points actually offer you a unique fill. You can actually touch and feel the limestone rocks that make up the rim, or Bryce Canyon, the amphitheaters there. You get a touch and feel the ponderosa pine trees and the bristlecone pines and limber pines that are along the rim of Bryce Canyon. These are very unique trees. They grow in very harsh environments. And we'll be able to enjoy a sunset on the rim of Bryce Canyon also, which is, it's a very unique thing to see. After, on day 5, we'll depart from Bryce Canyon and travel up over Highway 12, which is the most scenic highway in America by Car and Driver magazine, or one of the most. There's a lot of scenic roads, but when we're on that road, we get to experience different sandstone formations, and then we also get to experience lava fields and ancient volcanoes that cover the area out there. And then we'll go into Capitol Reef National Park, which is completely different and unique than any other park around there, with the waterfall pocket, with the creek, the old orchards that the first settlers into that area planted, the petroglyphs. You get to experience those. There's just some really unique things we're going to see in Capitol Reef. And then once we leave Capitol Reef, we'll drive over some more volcanic mountains and head toward St. George. We'll stop in St. George for dinner, experience some downtown flair that they have in St. George. It's a beautiful place. And then head down to Las Vegas, where we're going to spend the night again. And then on the last morning, on Sunday, we wake up, have a nice breakfast, and then we depart for home. So that's pretty much the gist of it. The one thing that's going to be unique about this trip that we're really going to do is we're in the works of getting some topographical maps that you can actually fill. So as we drive across the different areas, you can actually fill the contours of the land that we're passing through. I have quite a rock collection that I have, and we're actually going to be able to touch and feel each unique specimen of rock that is actually a part of the canyons and the plateaus and the valleys and the hills that we're going to be going through. So you get a good idea of what it actually feels like. You get a close-up look for it. And then also with the plants, again, there's some really cool things that they've gone through and created to help you be able to experience and see and touch and feel what the plants are actually like. And that's kind of what we have in the works for this tour, to make it really unique and be able to really see what it's like.
Yeah, that's great. And I know that we have been working with you guys since, I think this is the first time you're working with people that are visually impaired. And I have myself, and as well as Milton Taylor, who's out in Utah, has been giving a lot of help to Jason and Ron, and they're very eager to learn more. So if any of you are listening and want to give some advice or ideas, you could send them to me and I'll pass them along to Jason and Ron. So we could give them the heads up of things before we get there. I want to make sure that people understand that this tour is basically all-inclusive, less the transportation to Las Vegas. So the pricing is actually up on the ECHEVARRIA Travel website. It's on the radio show page where I have the ECHEVARRIA Travel Show listed on, and I could also email it to you. Also, the Travel and Tourism Division is working on getting their website finally up and running. So as soon as we do that, this will also be on there. This is going to be an adult, which I mean over the age of 18. We're actually doing this during the month of October because those that are blind and with the NFB or other blind organizations, October's Meet the Blind Month. But you don't have to be blind to come with us. We encourage everybody that wants to go on this trip to contact me or Maurice Shackelford or Milton Taylor or any one of the officers of the Travel and Tourism Division to find out the pricing and start putting a deposit down so we can send our money to Jason and Ron so they can hold our rooms and spaces on the bus. And I want to let you guys know, yes, if you have a service animal, you can bring your service animal. You don't have to worry about other disabilities. We will make it as accessible to everybody as we can. So again, those dates are October 9th through the 13th. And if you want pricing, please give me a call again at 631-456-5394 or reservations at ECHEVARRIATRAVEL.com. I've saturated it to all my friends and family, so if you have questions, now it's time to call and speak to us about it. The phone number for the radio show is 1-888-572-0141. So if you're out there and you're listening and you have questions or just want to say hello, give us a call. The lines are open. I want a couple of people have been asking me questions about the trip, especially when we stop and eat and all that at the different restaurants and stuff. Is it going to be a set meal or can people order off the menu? How does that work with the group like this?
The nice thing about our tour companies is we don't do a set meal when we go to restaurants. We basically have budgeted in X amount of dollars per person, and the person has the ability to order off of the menus that are available. So it's a lunch, dinner, breakfast, wherever we go, that you will have a selection of food. If anybody is gluten-free or vegetarian or any of those special dietary things, we actually make sure we go to restaurants that meet everyone's needs on that too. So we're very acute to those things. But you do get a choice. That's one thing that as a tourist, you don't like the same thing every day, 5 days in a row. That's not enjoyable. So we make it a little unique for you guys.
Okay. Lenny, were you trying to say something to me? I couldn't hear you. Okay. I also, if somebody is kosher, is that going to be a problem? Have you had members that have come that are devout kosher?
We have taken kosher groups in the past, and they have been completely fine with where we have chosen to eat on that. Okay. I just have to know in advance so that we make sure that we go to the right restaurants.
Gotcha. We got a call in line 1. Are you there, caller?
Yes, I'm Cheryl Argus. My husband, Bill Meeker, and I are looking forward to going on the trip. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Jason. Milt Taylor has told us about the trip. We have friends who are interested in going but can't sit for long periods of time. Can you give us a sense of how much bus time there will be every day?
This is a little bit longer of a drive. I won't, try and hide that truth. From Las Vegas to Grand Canyon South Rim, it is about a 4.5 hour drive. But we make sure, and we have some people in the past that have the same issue. We basically make sure about every hour we stop for 5-10 minutes, get out, stretch your legs, look around. There's plenty of things to see and do en route between the places and locations we go to, and we make sure that that's one thing that we do is we will be able to move around and get out and stay comfortable in that environment.
Did that answer your question, Cheryl?
Well, I'm in the other room, so hopefully my husband took notes. I didn't want to get. I don't hear it on the phone, so.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a problem with the
Grand Canyon
system.
to South Rim is the longest drive. After that, the Capitol Reef back to Las Vegas is going to be another long drive, a little less than the Vegas to the South Rim, but those are the two longest drives we'll have.
Cheryl, I want to make sure that if you didn't hear the answer or didn't get the full answer, I will have the recording of the show on my website probably either Friday night or Saturday. So if you want, I'll send you the link and you can actually hear the answer.
That's great. And I do have one other quick question, Cheryl. We're wondering about the weather and need for what kind of clothing during that time frame in the West.
For October is actually very pleasant in the places that we're going to be going. Expect Las Vegas may still be in the 90s. Page, Arizona, Zions National Park, Capitol Reef, you're going to be in the low 80s, high 70s, unless we have a really early winter. The coldest spots are going to be the south rim of the Grand Canyon and Bryce Canyon National Park. Expect mid 50s to low 60s and at the 1st of October in those areas. It's at night at Bryce Canyon. It will probably get below freezing or close to 32 degrees, but it warms up really fast, and so it's usually a comfortable time to see the Southwest. September, October are our busiest months of people coming to see the national parks.
I would also recommend on this, since we'll have our luggage with us, but I recommend that everybody use a carry-on as well, or at least have your medications, have a nice sweater or jacket, and when we park for the night, we'll have our luggage, I'm assuming, under the bus, correct? In with the luggage area of the bus, or how does that work?
Yes. The bus we're taking is a 32-passenger bus, and I will mention, I forgot to do this, it is wheelchair accessible. It does have the wheelchair lift on there, but we'll have the luggage with you the entire time. So if you're on the bus, your luggage is right with you. There'll be space for a carry-on, so no problem with that.
Thank you. Were there any other questions you had, Cheryl, for Jason or myself?
No, thank you very much. We're looking very much forward to the trip.
We're looking forward to having you. Have a great evening.
Shoes.
And
my husband wants to know about shoes. I guess he's wondering about hiking boots, the need for hiking boots.
Good question. Most of the parks have actually paved all of the walking trails and paths, unless you get really off the beaten path. This tour, where we'll be going, there will be a few places where there's some dirt, sand. It's the Southwest. There's sand everywhere you go. But for the most part, it will be a gravel or paved walking trail. It's just because with so many people that visit these parks, they've paved it to reduce the amount of erosion that happens on the trails because they're frequented so often.
Okay, Cheryl, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah and Happy Holidays and a Happy New Year. And we look forward to having you on the trip. And I hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks, Jason.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the show.
And if you have any other questions, please email me and I'll get them to Jason and Ron. Have a great evening. We're coming to the end of the hour, half hour anyway. It's coming up to 8:30, and our our long break. And I want to thank Jason again for coming on this evening and talking about our tour. We look forward to working with you. And if we have more questions, please email me or the Travel and Tourism Division, and we'll get it to Ron and Jason. So, again, I appreciate you being on tonight, and I want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Ron. Jason, I'm sorry.
You can call me either one. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's going to be a great trip, and we're looking forward to it. And you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year also.
All right, take care. When we come back from our break, I'll be talking about my recent trip with my husband and another couple to Bermuda on the Norwegian Star. And I'm also going to be talking about the NFB of Florida's first Sail Away convention. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Keith Zally, your announcer here at WTOE Radio Network. We're going to take a little bit long with this break to save our files for podcasts. So don't go anywhere, because there'll be more of the ECHEVARRIA Travel Show in just a bit.
Come with me, let's go.
Melting polar ice was a dirty look. Shrinking glacier, a nudge. Dying forests, they were a tap on the shoulder. We got a finger in our chest from the rising sea level, and a sharp poke in the ribs from recent wildfires in Alaska. Then dying coral reefs and eroding coastlines pushed us hard. The drowned polar bears, that was a shove. Melting permafrost, that was a slap. Rising ocean temperatures and extreme weather, an uppercut. Then record-breaking heat waves hit us right where it hurts. Has it occurred to anyone that maybe the Earth is trying to get our attention?
We can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution before it's too late. To find out how, go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. A person suffering from depression might feel sad, empty, or numb. They might sleep more or less, eat a lot or not at all, or show little interest in participating in ordinary activities. Mood swings, including anger and sadness, are common. They're often tired and have a hard time concentrating or making decisions. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. If you see the symptoms of depression, get that person to a doctor. With medical help, depression can be treated and suicide can be prevented. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
Are you stuck in front of your computer listening to our shows? Well, you may be happy to know that you don't have to be anymore. Hi, this is Keith Zally, your announcer here at WTOE Radio. Of course, you know we broadcast live on throughoureyes.org, but did you know we simulcast on Facebook, Ustream.tv, as well as all of our show's host websites? And now you don't have to be stuck trying to catch your favorite show on your computer. You can listen or even watch our shows live right on your smartphone or iPad. During broadcast nights, just point your phone or iPad browser to our mobile site, m.throughoureyes.org, and click on the Listen or Watch Live link. WTOE also offers many smart apps for your iPhone, BlackBerry, Android, Windows Mobile, or Nokia phones, iPads too, all for free. Visit our main site, www.throughoureyes.org/appstores.html, and download your free app today.
Imagine climbing the tallest mountain in the world without ever seeing the path in front of you. Imagine winning a television game show without ever seeing television. Blind people reach their dreams every day. Hello, I'm Mark Maurer, president of the National Federation of the Blind. With the proper training and opportunity, blind people become lawyers, professors, and chefs. We develop new technologies and support our communities. We own businesses and homes. We are mothers, fathers, and grandparents. We raise our children and worry about the bills. For more information on blindness, visit our website at www.nfb.org or contact me, Mark Maurer, National Federation of the Blind, 1800 Johnson Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21230, or call 410-659-9314. We are the voice of the nation's blind.
Come with me, let's go.
And we are back. I just love listening to my theme song. Anyway, I wanted to continue with this next half hour of what you missed from the last show. Unfortunately, again, we weren't on due to Hurricane Sandy. And yes, everybody here in the Echevarria Travel household is great. We're doing wonderful. Some of our friends unfortunately had some issues with their homes, but thank God everybody's healthy and well. In October, Nelson and myself, we celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary with another couple, our best friends, David and Lori Stayer. So if you know them from the NFB, David's the president of the Greater Long Island chapter, and we cruised together on the Norwegian Sky. And we did the 7-day cruise to Bermuda. It was our very first time there. We had a nice time on the cruise. There was some minor issues, just like anything else when you're traveling. I'm going to give a bit of advice here. When you book your travel and you have an allergy, you have, if you're kosher, if you're have any gluten-free or anything like that, like we were talking about earlier with Jason about the trip to Utah, please let us know so we could get it done ahead of time. There were some hiccups with that, but in general, we had a very nice time on the cruise. We had photo ops, and we saw a lot of entertainment on the ship, so we really, really enjoyed that. But the biggest part of our trip was going to Bermuda itself, and Bermuda is just a lovely country. It's actually off the coast of North and South Carolina. It is not in the Caribbean, and we're also going there. And if you've been listening, the NFB in New Jersey, we're doing a group cruise in April of 2013, and if you still want to go with us, you have plenty of time until the end of January to book, and we could get you in the NFB in New Jersey cruise. You won't get the rates that we originally had, but we could get you in and be in the group with us, and we're going to get $100 per stateroom to go to the NFB in New Jersey for this cruise. So if you're thinking about it, you still have a little bit of time left to join us. But in Bermuda, it's a very historical island. For those that don't know anything about Bermuda, the British actually used it during the Revolutionary War as a go-to island where they had a lot of forts and kind of like their runaway port when we were going after them in the Atlantic Ocean. So there's a lot of historical areas there. There's a great zoo that we went to, an aquarium. They have headsets there, and they could give you a tour around the zoo. In Dockyard, which is where the cruise ships enter, and we're actually ported there for we were there for 3 days and 2 nights. So if you're used to cruising and you're going from port to port to port to port, we were actually in the island of Bermuda for 3 days and 2 nights and got to see so much of the history. And we really enjoyed Dockyard because it's a very they have a lot of art their artists and art and blown glass and a lot of pottery art, and it's also their naval dock area. And for our trip to, well, we go in April, I've been in touch with a number of people that work with the Chamber of Commerce there in Bermuda, the Blind Society, the Lions International. So I'm working with a lot of people. In fact, the people that we met at the Glass Works and the Rum Cake Factory and other areas actually contacted me today, which is funny. Contacted me today and said, we realized that you have mentioned you're coming back with about 24 people to Bermuda in April, and we want to set up some tactile art shows. We want to make your trip as enjoyable as possible, so stay tuned. I may even get one of the people I'm working with to come on the show when we get closer to our cruise date. So stay tuned for that upcoming show. We also, the governor's household that's there in Dockyard. From there, we took the ferry over to St. George's, which they do a reenactment every single day, and it's called, believe it or not, the dunking stool, which I mean is like you dunk your donut in your coffee. This is not anything like that. In Revolutionary time, and some men may like to have this back about their gossiping wives again, but if a woman was caught gossiping, her husband can bring her to court, and then the fine would be they would take them out onto this very short stool over the water, and the men would dunk her. And there's a town crier there, and they reenact everything, and they take about 6 or 7 men from the audience to help in the reenactment. Bermuda, they speak English there. There's very slight accent that they have there, but again, it's very laid back. It's not like going to the Caribbean where it's run here, and it's very laid back, very enjoyable place to walk around. I had Max with me, my guide dog, and they don't have let's say, an ADA laws there, but I had no problems with access with my guide dog. Everybody was very welcoming. Nobody said you can't bring your dog in here, and went to a number of small museums. They don't have large museums like they have here in New York City. One particular museum we really enjoyed was the Blockade Museum. And during the Civil War between the states, the Confederate States used Bermuda to bring in all the fineries from England and Europe through Bermuda and brought it down to the southern states, like hats and gloves and cigars and all the lace and all the latest perfumes and all that, and it came through Bermuda, and we learned about all the history of that as well. These museums are not very expensive. Each one may be $4 or $5 per person to enter. We found out when we went to the aquarium that we mentioned we were blind, and they let us in for free. If we didn't, it was like $5 or $10 a person. A lot of the places that we went to were not very expensive, so Bermuda is a very, very historical and enjoyable place to visit. The other thing I want to bring up, and I have mentioned it at the top of the hour, that the NFB of the state of Florida is doing something very different, and they've hired me to do it. If you're with the National Federation of the Blind, you know the next 6 to 7 years will be in Orlando, Florida for our national convention, and this year If you haven't heard yet, the Braille Monitor just came out, and it's from July 1st through July 6th of 2013. And if you have a chance, hopefully we'll be having our Travel and Tourism Division meeting July 1st, so stay tuned for future episodes of the ECHEVARRIA Travel Show right here in the WTOE network. But in 2014, from February 7th to the 10th, the state of Florida is doing their very first cruise convention. It's from February 7th through the 10th of 2014. So if any of you NFB of Florida members are listening, now it's the time to start booking your staterooms. Even if you're not with the NFB, if you're not blind, if you're a friend of an NFB member, I've held separate group space. And anybody that wants to go on this cruise, you're welcome to join us. So we'll be sailing from Miami, Florida to Great Stirrup Cay, which is Norwegian Cruise Line's private island. And on Great Stirrup Cay, there's a barbecue, and you can go swimming, and there's a new stingray area that you can swim with the stingrays. And what we enjoyed the last time we were at Great Stirrup Cay in April, the photographers on the ship actually get in the water with you, and they do all these funny shots with you. And when you go back on the ship, you're able to, if you could see, you could actually see yourself in the water. Nelson actually had picked me up in the water since I was lighter in the water, and held me in his arms while we were in the water there. If you're a wheelchair person, there are special wheelchairs that they can push you around on the sand while you're there. They have music going on, and that's from, we arrive at Great Stirrup Cay about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we sail off about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We do go to Nassau in the Bahamas, and then we're back to Miami. So it's from Friday to Monday, from the 7th to the 10th of 2014. And the reason why we're talking about this so early, people say, oh my goodness, it's so early and everything. But as we know, people, whether you're blind or not, you're on a fixed income these days. And if you want to book with us, it's $50 per person to book. We've held interior, ocean view, and balcony if you want a suite, or if you have 3 or more people with you. All information is on the ECHEVARRIATRAVEL.com website under the NFB of Florida 2014. So that's available on there as well. So if you have questions about that, you can reach me, Cheryl Echevarria, at 631-456-5394, or you can reach the chair of the convention cruise, Dwight Sayer, who's the vice president of the state of Florida. Unfortunately, I don't have his phone number with me, and that's bad of me, but I wanted to give everybody a heads up on that. So we're coming to, so I just wanted to give you all a heads up on that. Some other interesting news. If you're interested and you're out there listening, you may have heard or not heard my co-host Maurice Shackelford. Unfortunately, he had some personal issues and won't be able to co-host with me anymore. But if you're interested and you want to co-host with me, or whether you're in travel or not, blind or not, and you just want to talk to interesting people and talk to me every first of the month, let me know and we'll work something out. But in any case, a couple other things before we close off the hour here. Back in October, yours truly was recognized in New York State as Disabled Entrepreneur of the Year for New York State. So I'm very honored to receive that title. So let's see what else is going on in the realm of the ECHEVARRIA Travel. Oh yes, I was mentioning that the Travel and Tourism Division is working on their website. Yes, we finally got a website. It will be up We'll have some bios of all of our members. We'll also have postings from everybody's blog. Everybody will have a little information about themselves and what they're doing. If you have some ideas that you would like for me to talk about during the radio show, or you want to come on and be a guest of the Echevarria Travel Show, give me a call at 631-456-5394. I want to also bring up to the fact that the WTOE radio and Echevarria Travel is done by donations. We can't do it without you and the donations that help run the WTOE network. If you enjoy what you're listening to every month, you can send me a donation made out to the WTOE radio network, and I'll pass it along to NFB of New Jersey. Please make out your checks to the NFB of New Jersey. It'll be a tax deduction because they're a nonprofit organization. So if you enjoy what I'm talking about, send it to me and we'll send it off to the NFB of New Jersey. Again, starting in January, if you're going to the National Federation of the Blind Convention in Orlando, Florida this year at the Rosen Center, you can start making your reservations as of January 1, 2013. Oh my God, it's 2013. In less than 30 days we'll be in a brand new year. Oh my goodness. Where'd the year go? What else here? Yes, the Travel and Tourism Division is planning on doing at least one tour this year. I've been in touch with the Holocaust Museum in Orlando, Florida, and it's very hands-on. I've been talking to the curators of the museum, so if you have an interest and go into the museum, it's one of the largest in the United States. It's in Orlando, Florida, so we will be doing that. I already have a promise from Mr. Mark Jones, who has been with us before. He is the access manager of both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, and he's promised to come and speak to our Travel and Tourism Division meeting at the convention. So there's a lot of great things going on this year in Orlando, so try and make our convention. If you're not part of the NFB, we still welcome you. If you want to find out more of what it's like to be blind, or in 2012 how you can be part of this great organization, you don't have to be blind to be part of our organization. You just want to have a willingness to make things better for people who are blind, like myself. I mean, I am a travel agent who happens to be blind, and let's face it, about 20, 30, even 40 years ago, that would never have been heard of. So please come and visit the NFB or any of the NFB chapters out there, so you can learn what it's like to be blind and meet the blind and learn all about us. We're just like everybody else. I want to give a little information as well. We're looking to do a trip to Italy in 2014. So if you're interested in going, we're looking to go in June. So again, if you're out there and you're listening and you want to go to Italy, give us a call. And one last thing, in July 28th through August 4th of 2013, we're doing our annual Cruise for a Cure. What you may or may not know, I've lost my vision from juvenile diabetes, and every year we do a Cruise for a Cure. It's going to be on the brand new Norwegian Cruise Line Breakaway, and we have plenty of staterooms available. Again, $100 per stateroom will go to Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. So Echevarria Travel is always giving back to the community, whether it's through Lions, whether it's through the National Federation of the Blind, or we're doing the fundraiser for somebody else. So we appreciate we appreciate you following us, and we look forward to hearing from you and speaking to you in January of 2013. So have a great night, everybody. Want to wish you a happy holiday, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Lenny, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you as well. So enjoy, everybody. Good night.
The ECHEVARRIA Travel Show is brought to you by ECHEVARRIA Travel, home of the independent traveler since 2009, specializing in worldwide destinations for the blind community. For more information on ECHEVARRIA Travel, call Cheryl at 631-456-5394 or email her at reservations@echevarriatravel.com. All words, ideas, and contents expressed on this show are those of Cheryl Echevarria and not necessarily those of the National Federation of the Blind, the Northeast New Jersey chapter, or the WTOE Internet Radio Network. Until next time, I'm Keith Zally.
Let's go. Cruise like a Norwegian.
Hi, this is Joe Ruffalo of WTOE Radio. If you are a resident in New Jersey and would like to join one of our chapters or have some more information about our chapters, please contact me at 973-743-0075 or email me at nfbnj@yahoo.com.
Hi, I'm Judy. And my name is Johnny. We're 10 years old and we're blind. Our dreams are to become scientists.
My name is Catherine. I'm 24 years old and I'm blind. I'm currently in law school and one day I dream of becoming an attorney.
My name is Bill. I'm 74 years old and I've just become blind. My dream is to remain independent in my own home and not have to go to a nursing home just because I'm blind.
The National Federation of the Blind of New York has been helping blind people achieve their dreams since 1956. Help keep their dream machine running and visit blindnewyorkers.org to make a donation. You can also call them at 718-567-7821. Blind people are your neighbors and colleagues, so learn more about blindness and make your contribution today. Go to blindnewyorkers.org or call 718-567-7821. The National Federation of the Blind of New York. Today's dreams can become tomorrow's realities.
How would you feel if your children went to school and weren't taught to read? What would the future hold for them? Today, a mere 10% of blind children are taught to read Braille. Literacy is a basic right, and with it, a blind person can become just about anything. With Braille, a blind person can read at the same rate as a sighted person. This opens doors to unlimited potential. Learning to read Braille is the key to success. Without it, a blind child doesn't have a chance. For more information on Braille literacy and blindness, please visit our website at www.nfb.org or contact me, Mark Maurer, President, National Federation of the Blind, 1800 Johnson Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21230, or call us at 410-659-9314. The National Federation of the Blind. We are the voice of the nation's blind.
Hi, I'm Keith Zally, your announcer here at throughoureyes.org. Thanks for tuning in to WTOE Radio's live broadcast. Our recording session will start shortly. While you are waiting, I'd like to ask all our listeners who have not yet registered at Through Our Eyes to consider doing so. Registering helps us ascertain whom our listeners are, where they come from, if they are blind or visually impaired, as well as other important information which helps us guide us in providing programming that will meet our visitors' needs. I urge all our listeners to register today. It's free and only takes a minute to complete the process. Please read our privacy policy so you can be assured that the information you provide stays with us and only us, and you'll never get any unwanted emails. Well, we're almost ready to begin. Since what you are about to listen to is live, after each recording of the show, you'll hear approximately 15 minutes of music. This is the time we are contacting our next guest for the next show. When the show starts, you'll hear it in its entirety. Our recording sessions usually comprise 3 separate shows, each about 15 to 20 minutes in length, but approximately 15 minutes between each session. So once again, thanks for listening to WTOE Radio Live. Our recording session will start momentarily. I'm Keith Zalley. Hi, I'm Keith Zalley, your announcer here at throughoureyes.org. Thanks for tuning in to WTOE Radio's live broadcast. Our recording session will start shortly. While you are waiting, I'd like to ask all our listeners who have not yet registered at Through Our Eyes to consider doing so.
Welcome to Stepping Forward, an engaging, no-nonsense approach to life's problems with your host, licensed clinical psychologist Tamara White. Let Tamara's keen wit and straightforward delivery help make sense out of life's complex issues such as child rearing, sex education in adulthood, dealing with the elderly, and so much more. Tamara will inspire, motivate, and amuse you while dealing with real-world scenarios. And now, here's Tamara.
Hey everyone, I am super excited to be here with you tonight to start a whole new project with Stepping Forward. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time, so I am going to give you a little brief synopsis of who I am and what I am, and then we're just going to go straight into this. I'm really excited about it. So my background is in clinical psych. And I am a licensed professional counselor in Texas, and I have a private practice. So my goal for this program is going to be, for Stepping Forward, is going to be to discuss real-world scenarios and be able to identify ways that we can figure out what's going on and come up with ways that we can fix kind of scenarios that we can go forward with. All right. So towards the end of the show, we're going to have time for call-ins or emails addressing your questions and anything of the sort. All right. So let's get started. So what I kind of put up is 'tis the season to be what? What is it that this time of the year, while we are identifying songs and such, they say 'tis the season to be merry, to be jolly. However, many times this happens to be one of the most depressing, stressful, and anger-invoking times for people. So realistically, let's find out solutions that work specifically for and tailored just towards you. All right. So let's take a brief break. I know we just started. Let's take a brief break and let's get started on coming up with ways to identify some of these feelings and scenarios and move forward with those. Okay? So we're going to take a brief break and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Stay right where you are. Tamara will be right back.
What is a hero? Are heroes born, or are they made? In after-school programs, your kids will uncover hidden strengths, discover they have the power to change their future, and find the hero inside themselves. Let us know you on after-school programs in your area. Call 1-800-USA-LEARN. After-school programs, helping kids find the hero within.
In the great scheme of things, a minute isn't all that much. Unless you happen to have a stroke. All of a sudden, those minutes count. Minutes that could mean losing your ability to talk. Minutes that could mean losing your ability to walk. Talking, moving, walking, gone. Which is why, if you can get help in time, your stroke can be treated. The warning signs of a stroke include sudden numbness or weakness of the face, sudden trouble seeing, speaking, or understanding. If you experience this, call 911 immediately, because time lost is brain lost. Visit strokeassociation.org or call 1-888-4-STROKE today.
A public service announcement brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Know the facts about African Americans and stroke. To join the movement to stop stroke, visit strokeassociation.org today.
I can listen. I can cook.
Good. I can coach.
Kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
I can drive.
I can paint.
I can dance.
A little of your time can make a lifetime of difference.
I can read.
I can help.
You can help. Call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313 to find out about community drug prevention programs.
I can keep a kid off drugs.
And now, back to Stepping Forward. Here's Tamra.
Hey everyone. All right, so thanks for sticking with me right now. And so let's talk about some of the feelings and scenarios that's going on throughout this season. All right. So I told you that oftentimes that we're supposed to be merry, we're supposed to be jolly, we're supposed to be having a great time. But the reality is many of us, we're having a terrible time. Okay. We're having different feelings that don't really coincide with the Christmas season. We may be having sadness or depression, stress, anxiety, anger, okay, or even giddiness that actually could be detrimental. So we're going to talk about that. And our feelings are generally heightened at this time. So let's go over the more common ones and the scenarios, and let's talk about that for a second. First of all, before we kind of go into the others, let me just let you know that sadness and depression, this really comes about if we're looking at perhaps we have a loss of a loved one, or we're feeling memories of the past that were really good and that they no longer exist for us. And this is kind of a part of the grieving stage and any process that you've had if you've been grieving for a loss of someone. So, you know, I don't want to undermine this. So we need to understand that this is still what I would ask you to do is to actually embrace the thoughts that you're having and the people and everything that's going with that, because to not think about something only heightens it to like the 10th degree. So if you were to try to put it out of your mind, it's constantly going to be there. So maybe you should talk to a friend or journal some things, or just kind of embrace and remember everything that happened to you. And again, because this is maybe a grieving period for you, counseling might be the issue. So, okay, so that's the one thing that I'm not going to be able to handle with you tonight. Maybe the others we will. So, okay, so let's talk about that. All right, so here's one that kind of is common for everyone. The next one is stress and anxiety. All right, and the Christmas season, it seems to appear around Halloween. I know in my stores here that we can be shopping at Halloween time to try to look for something to do with the kids, and all of a sudden they're putting Christmas displays out 2 months early, and you're like, what the heck? When did this start? And why are people trying to do this so early? And that already provokes some kind of stress in me, because I am completely not ready to. Because I remember when I was a kid that we started doing this back, I guess, Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving. And now it's like November 1st. Everybody wants to start looking forward to Christmas and dedicating all of their homes and such to Christmas. So that kind of provokes stress. With the stress, we have obviously the financial issue, right? Like, how are we going to pay for this? What do we need to do? What gifts are we going to get? How is this going to happen? Because when we start using our credit cards and we start looking for the future, January, February, we start resenting and regretting all the purchases that we made. So our Yuletide spirit kind of falls apart in about January. So the best way to kind of fix this is to kind of look ahead, all right? So look at what we can do and what we can't do. So Money is definitely an issue, so be realistic with that. Second, like the decorations. On my street, decorations seem to be kind of a competition factor. And so I was talking to someone down the street the other day, and I told him, I was like, I really feel sorry for these people because they're in between these two houses that look like the Griswolds on the, Christmas Lampoon adventure. And everyone is doing some competitive spirit to try to look better than the next. And those in the middle look like they're the Scrooges and not doing anything. So that kind of causes a little bit of stress in people because they're like, oh man, I guess I need to do something with my house, right? And then if you guys are aware of Pinterest right now, that's kind of the new thing of this year. It tells you how you can make anything into a Christmas decoration. And that's a little, overwhelming for any of us that we were really good with felt and glue and eyeballs. And now all of a sudden we need to figure out how to make any kind of an object in our home into some kind of an extravagant Christmas display. So competition, I think. All right, shopping. Shopping is stressful. Shopping is stressful for probably all of you. I did my first Black Friday in a very long time. And if you have any idea of what went on that day and or news events, you will see that it is definitely not the season of cheer and good tidings and such. Black Friday is very stressful and anger, and people need to get what they want to get for $4 cheaper. And for some reason are willing to fight for that, and that happens. I wasn't necessarily going to fight for it. Well, I don't know, maybe. But I got what I wanted. So I was good with that. But not a lot of people were happy. So, stress was explored that night as well. Okay, last one that I want to talk about on this of stress is your family. Okay, my family, your family, probably every family involved is going to be a little bit stressful because who's going to sleep where? Who's going to eat what? Who's going to bring what? What should we get for everyone? We don't really like them sometimes, and we see them maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, and all of a sudden, one of the most major holidays ever, we are going to choose to spend it with family that we don't particularly care for. So, how do you deal with them? That is a major concern, and I hear that a lot in my private practice about this time. And I don't know. I mean, the answer is kind of like, how is this going to affect your family? Are you able to break away from them and such? But we'll talk about this a little bit more. All right, the last feeling that I really want to emphasize, because we're going to talk about strategies in a little while, is anger. All right, I told you guys about me going shopping on Black Friday. So obviously that's going to instill some anger when people don't get what they want or what they're hoping for. Also, anger is going to come with just mall shopping in general, with the crowds and the lines and everyone getting a little bit annoyed with each other. Rude people, nothing makes me more angry than a rude person who, has no other reason other than they having a bad day to run into you, ignore that you were there. On TV you see all these happy, glad tidings and have a good day, and I didn't see that. I was shopping last weekend in a huge mall, and I didn't see any of these sweet people that I see on TV. So, rude people really get to me. All right, then we have the decorations. I grew up in a family where the lights were always going to be the dad's responsibility, and for whatever reason, no one wanted to be around. It was terrible. Everyone hated the light ceremony of him trying to wrap them around. I'm sure a few words were expressed that probably shouldn't have been. just decorations in general. People get on the roof, people fall off the roof. People are trying to do everything they can to make a nice holiday, and yet, if you will just sit and listen to everyone decorating, they're just mad. Everyone gets really mad. And again, from the last, if this doesn't overlap, if you have not noticed the overlap, family makes you angry. Take that however you want to, and with whatever agenda that you want to. All right. The last one that I want to talk about, that we're going to talk about strategies later, is giddiness. Giddiness. How is giddiness a problem or a scenario for the holidays? Because we should all be giddy, right? We should all be happy. We should all be jolly. And the problem with giddiness is that it's not just happy, but it's kind of a drunk on life kind of aspect. And when you have that, it's not exactly rational. You're not logical. Your emotions are a little off kilter. So giddiness is not necessarily a state that lasts. So it's something that I do want to talk about. I mean, I don't want you to be so romantic that you propose on the moment and then you're looking back in January going, oh my goodness, what did I do? Or we have the nostalgia of, oh my gosh, life was so perfect when 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 18 years ago, whatever it was. I think that we tend to have like false romanticizing at the time that's going on. And then there's always the concept that you really do get drunk, and it's just a plain and unwarranted kind of drunk, because everywhere you go at all the parties, they're giving you something, and need I say more about that? We're always gonna regret something. Okay? So being overly giddy is like being in fairyland drunkenness, and by January you're gonna have an extreme hangover. All right, so now that I've given you at least what I see and what I see in my practice, the majority of kind of the feelings that are going on at this time of the season, let's talk about some strategies. All right, some strategies that we're going to work through. I'm really big on working through things and not over stuff. I really don't like just getting over something, because if you get over it, then it's going to come back. So I really feel like you got to get through the fire and not necessarily over it in order to make things work. All right, so I do want to give you a disclaimer. So the disclaimer being that you can look online, you can look through magazines, and there's going to be options that I'm not necessarily going to work through with you, but I do want you to know that they may or may not work for some people. Walking around the block is something that I have seen common, or exercising. So if you're completely stressed, you might want to walk around the block, you might want to exercise. And personally, that doesn't work for me so well, because if I am really angry or really stressed, I'm going to walk around the block, I'm just going to kind of get ideas or more angry on what I should be doing, and why am I exercising and trying to accomplish this at the same time. So that might not be the best idea. Phone a friend. That's the next idea. Why don't you call a friend, see what's going on with them, see if they make you feel better about yourself, and you can talk it through with them. And if you're really going through all of these things at that moment, you may not have any friends. You may not have friends. You may not have anyone who answers your calls. I don't necessarily know that I would have a lot of friends that I could talk to, especially right now, that you could talk to. So maybe not. That's not the best idea as well. All right. Lay off the caffeine. This kind of seems to be the zeitgeist of the times. This is like what everyone says for any problem, anything that's ailing you. It's like, you know, really, seriously, you need to go to decaf and quit drinking so many sodas, and on and on and on. You really probably don't want to see me if I'm not on coffee or pot by 10 o'clock in the morning, you probably really don't want to. But again, this is just for me. So, but this is my disclaimer before I give you my real world scenarios. All right. So, breathing as well, all right? Breathing situations, they'll say just deep breathe. If you're feeling really angry, just deep breathe. And again, to me, that's just giving me a little bit more power and ability to do whatever I feel like I need to do. And the last one on that is meditation. Now, I am all for prayer. I am completely for prayer. I feel like that works and such. Meditation, I haven't got there yet. Meditation is deep thought, sitting there trying to figure out what works for you, what doesn't. And I am going to tell you, if I'm going to sit there long enough and meditate, I'm really probably going to come up with ideas of how I should have acted earlier or how I should act on my aggression. I'm probably not going to be in the best state of mind and sweetness. Okay? So, that's an honest answer. All right, so let's go to kind of my strategies. All right, here's where I want to go with this. So I did give you everything that may or may not work for you. I don't know. Those don't necessarily work for me. They may work for you. All right, so some of the strategies and examples that I have kind of put in place is, here's the first one. Give yourself permission and think about the what ifs. Okay? So here's what this looks like. What if you actually don't put lights on your house? What if? What's going to happen next? I use this in my counseling approach all the time. It's kind of a rational emotive therapy. And what it talks about is, what's the extreme thing? What is the worst possible thing that is going to happen? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the worst possible things. So, in this example, what if you actually do not put lights on your house this year? What if you don't? What's going to happen? So people are going to what? Like come knock on your door and make fun of you and say, what the heck? Why don't you have lights on your house? Probably not. All right. And so what's the next what if? They're going to come up with a different scenario and they're going to say, okay, well, you're making the rest of us look bad because we all have lights. Okay. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission not to do so. That takes such a heavy burden off of your shoulder to say, you know, it's totally cool if I don't do this. Here's what I would do. I would make like a game of this and let the inner judge in you kind of come out. Because, you know, while you're walking around the block from the other scenario, look at these lights and say, yeah, that one's not very good. Or, wait, that one's awesome. Because you get to be the judge then. A judge can't compete in games, right? So there you go. You can't play the game if you're a judge. So there's a strategy. Okay, give yourself permission. It is absolutely okay if I don't do this. Once you tell yourself that, no one else really would care. All right. The second one, another strategy, give yourself the gift. You get to give yourself a gift. Nothing luxurious, but give yourself the gift of time. You know, like breathe and think and figure out what you want to be happening right now. Do you really want to endure all of this and all of this nonsense? And if it is, can you just like sit back and be amused with it? Now, when you give yourself the gift of time, people say, oh, I don't really have time and I'm doing this all the days and this takes up my entire day. I have to do shopping, I have to get my family, I have to do all of these things. So here's what I would say there. Get up early. I know that sucks. People don't want to get up early, go to bed late. People don't want to go to bed late because they know they have the whole stinking thing going on the next day. Do it. That's your gift. Get up, give time to yourself, have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and just chill out for a while. Or go to the store. be the most volunteer person in all the land to be like, oh, we need ice? I'll go get ice. Oh, we need toothpicks? Oh, I'll get toothpicks. If you don't know anything that you need, go to the store anyway. During the drive to the store, treat yourself to whatever you need. If you need a break, if you need a snack, if you need a drink, if you need ice cream, go to the store. That gives yourself time, all right? These strategies aren't exactly like what most people will tell you, but I do think it's a really good idea. All right, the next one. Envision of what you really think it should look like, and envision of what in your mind Christmas or the holiday season itself is supposed to look like. Envision it. Envision what you want it to be. When you actually can get a picture of the ideal and how you want it to present itself, then you might see that you're not so off base. Maybe you really do want the family there. Maybe you really do want all these presents. Maybe you really do want all of these things. However, you're going to find that there are going to be some things that you can change, and there's going to be some things that you can't change. Some of the stuff you can change are the little things, like, again, going back to Pinterest, all these great ideas of how to wrap presents with garland and, you know, cinnamon cubes and everything like that. Okay, so, and glitter. So maybe you actually decide that, yeah, I'm just going to use a bag. Bags are fine. They still get the present. So maybe that's something for you to think about. Look at the small things. Look at what is realistic for you to change and change it. And if it's not, then let's figure out a way to move forward without that. But I think you'll find if you can change the small things, it's going to be a huge impact on your family. Okay, so the next strategy for that is develop a catchphrase. A catchphrase for this, all right? So look at people and understand what it is that you want to say when you see them. Get your own catchphrase going. Whatever is going to get you through the moment, all right? Like, oh, that's awesome. 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 That's a great catchphrase. How about, oh, wow, that's great. You did a great job. It is really hard for people to kind of go against you when you're beating them with kindness and you're doing kind of giving in on the fight, so to speak. You're giving in on the competition. You're giving in on all of this good stuff, right? So you're like, yeah, that's such a good idea. Oh my gosh, you're so smart. Or how did you think of that? And then there's going to be the times that you're going to be like, sure, of course you can go in front of me in line, when they already did. Or, yeah, that was a great idea you came up with, and that was the best food I've ever had. Again, the easier it is for you to develop this catchphrase, then the easier it's going to be for you just to get through the moment. All right, so we're going to break for a few minutes, and then we're going to come back, and we're just going to kind of continue on with what we're talking about. So stick with me. We got some more stuff to talk about, okay? All right.
Bender, thank goodness you're here. That huge asteroid is headed right towards Earth.
I'll handle this. Like an arrow shot from a man-sized...
Hi, this is Michelle Paulette from WTOE Radio. We're going to take a few extra minutes while we save our files for podcast, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 4 short minutes.
Thank goodness you're here. That huge asteroid is headed right towards Earth.
I'll handle this. Like an arrow shot from a man-sized bow, the Red Defender hurtled to space using his super strength to stop the asteroid.
He's stopping the asteroid. It's moving away from Earth. You saved us. How did you do it?
I just stopped the asteroid and reversed its course back into space.
Look, the moon! It's exploded!
Where exactly did you throw that asteroid?
Away. I threw it away.
No more moon. That means no more tides. Tides are created by the moon.
And no more walks in the moonlight. I love walks in the moonlight.
Saving the world isn't easy. Saving a life is. Just 1 pint of blood can save up to 3 lives. To find out more, go to bloodsaves.com. A public service message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hello.
Is Joey home?
Joey, the door.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Hello, son. I'm Dean Rubin from college. I'm here to invite you to join us this fall.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a day.
Well, we've reviewed your application.
Give me an E.
No, wait. Right, you didn't actually fill out an application.
I didn't think I had to.
You know what? That's fine. Because your algebra grade certainly... No? Wait, you didn't actually take...
Well, no one told me I was supposed to...
whatever. You really want to go to college, and we really want to have you.
Joey, out of bed.
Hey, wake up. You can't dream your way into college. There are actual steps you need to take. For all the steps, visit knowhowtogo.org. Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
Janine Marks, a 12-year-old, was fairly normal. She spent a lot of time online. One day, she met a new friend. The new friend had the same problems at home. They liked the same bands. They worried about the same subjects in school. They promised to keep each other's secrets. They wished they went to the same junior high. The new friend had good news. He said he was going to be in Janine's area one Saturday. He thought it would be amazing if they could just hang out, go to the mall. Janine agreed. The new friend didn't want parents messing this up. Janine showed up alone. So did her new friend, who wasn't in junior high, wasn't nice, and wasn't a 14-year-old boy. Last year, 1 in 5 children was sexually solicited online. Help delete online predators. Call 1-800-THE-LOST or visit cybertipline.com to learn how to protect your kids' online life. A message from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and the Ad Council.
Are you stuck in front of your computer listening to our shows? Well, you may be happy to know that you don't have to be anymore. Hi, this is Keith Zalley, your announcer here at WTOE Radio. Of course, you know we broadcast live on throughoureyes.org, but did you know we simulcast on Facebook, Ustream.tv, as well as all of our shows' host websites? And now you don't have to be stuck trying to catch your favorite show on your computer. You can listen or even watch our shows live right on your smartphone or iPad. During broadcast nights, just point your phone or iPad browser to our mobile site, m.throughoureyes.org, and click on the Listen or Watch Live link. WTOE also offers many smart apps for your iPhone, BlackBerry, Android, Windows Mobile, or Nokia phones, iPads too, all for free. Visit our main site, www.throughoureyes.org/appstores.html, and download your free app today.
Tis the season to be jolly and joyous. Fa la la, with a burst of pleasure we feel it right. Fa la la, it's a season when the saints can employ us. Fa la la, to spread the news about peace and to keep love alive.
Come along, son. Let's go see if Christmas dinner is ready yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And now, back to Stepping Forward. Here's Tamra.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for hanging with us for this break. I know this is all new. This is new for me. So thanks for staying with me on the first show and hopefully we'll kind of work out the kinks as we go along, and I'll have a better understanding of how this all works out. Okay, so I've given you all of these strategies, you know, and kind of how to deal with this situation. I want to give you one more. So let's say you've made it through and all is good, and somehow you have found a way to get through the year. And by the way, don't think that I don't have to do this at my house as well. I mean, the reason that I thought of this show is because I have enough craziness going on at my house that I had to kind of counsel myself, because who's going to counsel the counselor, right? So I kind of had to come up with my own ideas and how I'm going to deal with this. And like I mentioned earlier, all the magazine and internet solutions didn't necessarily fit my realm of life, so I had to look for some real world things. So everything that I have mentioned so far, I feel like, I hope will help you. I mean, it helps me. This is what I do. So this is how I handle things. The last one that I want to talk about, let's say you get through this. Let's say all is right with the world and you have managed to somehow survive. Here's the last strategy that I have for you on this. Remember what it was that you did and note it. If you need to take pictures, if you need to do a journal entry, if you need to like go back and talk to a friend and say, hey, please remind me next year that I'm going to handle this, that I was good. Let's do that. That's what you need to do. That's what I do. I write down stuff. I'm like, oh my God, okay, here's what worked for me this year. And so next year, which is now this year, and I'm coming up with some more as we speak, then I go, okay, this one worked last year, so I really don't have to like hot glue my fingers together. I can do just stickers and ready-made projects. I can do that. And you'll find the same for you. So figure out what works for you, and remember that, because next year, you know, you need someone to remind you why you didn't go on the naughty list this year. Unless maybe you did, and then that's a whole different show for you. So that's kind of the strategies and all that I want you to kind of work on this Christmas and this whole season, and I hope it works for you. I'm trying to be very realistic because I know what works for me. And in the future in our shows, what I really want to do is I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your topics that you think would be of interest, and we can get some guests in here and figure out what we need to do and move forward with that. So the last few minutes of every show, what I really want to do is dedicate to some questions, phone-ins, whatever you might have for me, because I think this is the most fun time of the situation. So I don't know that we have a call-in right now, but I did pull out right before this. We started tonight on my website. I have a lot of questions. I have an open dialogue with people to go ahead and just reach out to me with some questions. And, you know, they don't really want to go to counseling. They just want a brief answer, no copays, no insurance, no anything. They just want to know the answer. So, all right, here's one that I have for you. I just pulled this one out this evening, and this is from Sarah in Alabama, and she is 22 years old. And she says, I have been dating this guy for 6 months, and I'm afraid that over Christmas he's going to propose. However, I want to break up with him. So when is the most appropriate time? Ouch, that one's tough. I don't know that he is ever going to think that there was an appropriate time to do so. So what I would like to, I mean, you know, there's a few things to question in this scenario. Like, if this was not the holiday season, would he want to propose to you, or is he all worked up in that giddiness? If he just wanted to continue to date you without proposing, would you want to continue with that? So here's what I would do. If you seriously think that this is going to happen and you do not want to marry him, I would kind of be proactive. I think proactive is always good. And I would say, hey, I just want to like kind of touch base about our relationship. I think we're having such a good time. I am having so much fun. And I'm so glad that we are not taking such a huge step right now. That gives him time to take the ring back, get his money back, do whatever he needs to do, right? And at the same time, you get to continue to not break his heart, have fun, talk about this again in January when neither of you are drunk over the holidays. All right? That's my advice. That's what I would do. All right. Another one. I love the holidays, but I seem to crash in January. Why? And what am I supposed to do about that? Why am I having so much fun in December, but all of my life falls apart in January? This is Tatum from Florida. Okay. Well, a few things about that, right? We all are spending so much money in December that, especially if you're on credit, you don't even see it until January. So that might be an issue. You know, and also, again, like I talked about before, there's that nostalgia that comes to us that, you know, families together, everything is great. I'm loving my life, and all of a sudden everyone leaves, the turkey is gone, nobody really wants the leftovers. So I think that's really, really common. Do you know, sadly enough, two common careers get really highlighted in January. One is weight loss. Obviously, everybody's going to the gym. And the second one is counseling, because everyone's kind of getting over with that. So I have on my screen, Lynn, that someone's calling in. Can you put a number up there? Or they had just texted on screen that they wanted to call in. Is there a call-in number? Awesome, thanks. So, thanks. So anyway, I mean, I think that is really, really common for everyone to kind of feel jaded as the new year rolls around. So again, like I said in other issues, probably the best thing that you can do is be proactive and think about what it is that happens in January that gets you. Is it financial? Is it the family's gone? Is it that you just kind of had this Christmas magic and thoughts of what was to be? Okay. Okay. So, okay. So pretty much this is kind of where I wanted to go tonight. I really wanted to talk about, you know, the Christmas spirit and why we have it or why we don't. And I really don't want to, you know, underemphasize the fact that for many people this is such a depressing and sad time of the year, or they start having feelings of wanting to be around family and that they can't be. And so I knew, you know, a lot of this was a little comical, and I do know that that is a real issue, and I deal with that a lot, so in my practice. So if you feel like you're continuing going through some kind of a grief process and such, then I do want you to reach out and do some kind of a counseling session. Okay, so without having a guest here tonight, and this being a new role, and I am like quite the talker, I'm even tired of hearing my own self. So maybe you are as well. Don't tell me if you are. I don't want to know. Oh, okay, so now I'm hearing that actually someone's calling. So, what shall I do in order for us to wait for a caller? Okay, we do have a caller. Hey, Bob.
Hi, Tamara.
Hi,
I
can
came
you hear
across
me
your
okay?
show on YouTube, and I started listening, and I'm actually going through a situation right now that you kind of described. Well, not exactly, but I thought I'd get your ideas on it.
Okay, wait, did I hear you, or you're on YouTube? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I just came
Okay.
across it on YouTube.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, my oldest brother and I have an estranged relationship. You know, we haven't talked in almost 10 years. And, you know, this time of the season always makes me feel like it's the time I should really, like, try to repair things. But I don't know if I'm doing that because of the fact that it's Christmas or if it's something I really feel I should do. And, you know, everything you were talking about tonight just kind of hit me.
Okay, so I'm sorry that has to kind of stink in the first place that you guys haven't talked for so long. Do you want to talk to him? I guess I'm confused on that. Has he reached out to you, or?
No, he hasn't reached out to me.
Okay.
I mean,
You feel like
obviously
you
it's not
should reach
ideal.
out to him? Is that what you're saying?
No, he has not.
Okay. But do you want to reach out to him?
Well, kind of, but, you know, I mean, I'm also worried that, you know, at Christmas time it's kind of the best time, and it also might be the worst time.
Okay. Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. You know, this happens a lot. A lot of family again, I don't know if you heard earlier, but nostalgia is really huge at this point. So everyone kind of starts feeling like, you know, this is the time for forgiveness, and this is time for letting everything just be okay. And it is, and I appreciate that, and I think that's an awesome idea. My concern over that is, you know, realistically, is that in January or February, you might be like, what the hell? Why did I forgive him? He's still the same, you know, ass or jerk or whatever he was earlier on. And so, you know, a couple of things. If you haven't reached out to him yet, or if he hasn't reached out to you, but you're kind of having that inkling that you might do so, here's what I might do. I might, like, write a letter or start a letter to what you would like to say to him, and have all of these feelings, and if you want to continue on, you know, but I wouldn't mail it. I wouldn't mail it yet. What I would do is kind of hold on to it, maybe send him a generic, hey, have a great Christmas, hope everything is well, kind of text or letter or card or whatever you feel like you need to do. And then in January, when everything kind of calms down, if you're still feeling this and you reread your letter, I would mail it and then look over that, because then you know that you're going into it with, like, clarity, and you weren't just kind of, you know, spun over with the holiday season, and you know what you're doing. That's what I think I would do.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I can see that. Do you think just the act of actually writing and like getting my feelings out is all part of that, or?
I think that writing it will obviously express your feelings, which may or may not be positive. That's going to depend on you. But I always caution people, especially in a period of time that you and your brother have gone without talking, I would be very cautious in mailing your first direct feelings. I mean, this is kind of the rough draft, I think, of y'all's future relationship and communication. So I would look at this back in grade school when you had to do a rough draft letter. But when you do a rough draft, everything comes out. So that would be interesting. Like I said, rough draft it, say what you want to say, sit on it, don't do anything with it yet. That's what I think.
Okay. I actually think I'm going to try that. That makes sense to me. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next month. Listen in.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, well, I have enjoyed visiting with you on my first night. Again, a lot of kinks in the program, myself included, that I got to work through. But this is going to end our first night together. I am extremely excited about stepping forward with you all. My hope for you is to have a crazy-free holiday. And I wish that for myself. I wish that for everyone at this point. So I look forward to talking to you in the new year, and let's try to figure out how we can start the new year off with something that's going to be a great testament of what is to come. So thanks for being here for the first night. I look forward to it. If you have any questions, please know that you can email me and we'll address all of these next month. Okay? So, thank you.
Stepping Forward with Tamara White, a licensed professional counselor and clinical psychologist, was brought to you by the WTOE Radio TV Network at throughoureyes.org. For more information on tonight's show, or to reach Tamara directly, you may email her at twhitecounseling@yahoo.com or visit twhitecounseling.net. That's twhitecounseling.net. Special thanks to the numerous individuals and families that have stepped outside of the box to enlist assistance through therapy. All words, ideas, and comments expressed on Stepping Forward are those of Tamara White and not necessarily those of the National Federation of the Blind, the NFB of New Jersey, or the WTOE Radio TV Network. Until next time, I'm Michelle Paulette.
Oh, Magoo, you've done it again.
That's all, folks.